Welcome to Community Pulse. I'm Brian LaMoure, and today's show we'll be talking about a special program that's here in Helena. They're looking for people to help volunteer, which sounds like a real fun activity, and we're looking for people to help participate in the programs that are offered. We're talking about horses helping people through the Fresh Steps program, and with us today is the Executive Director, Darcie Kelly, and Lorena James. You're the volunteer coordinator. Now, Darcie, let's start with you. This sounds like a real interesting program. What's it all about?
Well, we have several horses that we use to help people in mental health therapy, but also with growth, learning. It doesn't just have to be mental health. And we've recently become a NARA center, which means that we can include not only work on the ground, but we can also do mounted activities. And that's where the need for volunteers came in for us, because we need 3 volunteers for every 1 rider that we have.
Well, now it's really interesting. We're using horses for therapy. That sounds great. How does a horse wind up providing therapy?
Well, horses are prey animals, and we're predators, and so we provide people with the opportunity to get out there with the horse and have to see things a different way in order to communicate with the horse. So our regular approach with each other has to change in order to get a horse to communicate and cooperate and do some of these activities.
So you become a horse whisperer. You have to understand how to communicate with something that doesn't really understand our language, right?
Yeah, and so it gives us a chance to try and learn their language, and we have to really get out of our shell, out of our box, and play in the arena instead of talking, where we can kind of cover things up. We've learned how to do that. But we can't really do that in the arena and with the horses, because the horses really read our body language, which is really the primary way that we communicate. So they read that and they're responding to that. So if you're just trying to do something simple like get a horse to walk into a box and the horse doesn't want to go, you have to find some other way. You know, pulling and tugging and being aggressive isn't going to work. You have to try something different. You know, horses are very big, they can be very intimidating, so any kind of bullying or negative behavior really wouldn't work. Of course, we encourage people to be nice to the horses, but the work is really stressful for the horses too. And one of the programs that we started is kind of an adoption program where we have volunteers come in and choose one of the horses that they like, and they help maintain a notebook on grooming activities, any kind of sores or stress, and we teach people kind of first aid and to look for that in the horse, because we want them to be healthy and bright and able to help people and do it on a regular basis. So
that's great, and I know that a lot of people I'm friends with, they really bond with their horses, and I imagine that happens with this program, right?
It does, and we've talked to several people who own horses that come and work with us, and they say that when they've been through some tragedy or trauma, even folks that have been in Iraq, they come back and the thing that helps them the most is spending time with their horse. And so we really want to provide that opportunity for everyone to experience something that we know really works and helps us. But it's also a certified mental health practice. We are certified through EGALA, which is the Equine Assisted Growth and Learning Association. And of course, then we're also a NARA center, and we have certified riding instructors to help with the mounted activities as well.
So you have, you're thoroughly trained, you know what you're doing, you have the resources, and you just need people to maybe give you a call if they're interested in receiving this service. But now, Lorena, you're the volunteer coordinator, and we're talking volunteers here. Darlene mentioned that there's about 3 individuals that need to be with the horse when an individual is receiving therapy. And imagine that's what some of the volunteer opportunities are.
That's what some of the volunteer opportunities are. We need a horse handler and 2 sidewalkers for each participant. And then there is also the horse grooming, the horse adoption that Darcie talked about, and just making sure that the horses are taken care of. And if they have a lameness or a health issue, then if they note it in the notebook, we know that that maybe we shouldn't use that horse that day.
Now, Lorena, does an individual, if they want to volunteer, do they have to be a horse person, have the horse background, and know everything about that?
They do not need the horse background. We will show them what they need to know, and we don't just throw them in to be a horse handler.
Yeah.
We have trained people right now that can handle that, but we do need the sidewalkers. And there are other opportunities as well besides grooming the horses. If you're not really comfortable around the horses, there's things around the farm that need to be done. There's always hay to be moved.
Hay to be moved.
And poo to be scooped.
And so there's a lot of opportunities, but now some people might be watching and saying, well, it sounds like a 40-hour-a-week volunteer job and I don't have that much time. It isn't that way, is it?
No, I take into consideration what time the person has to give, and we don't want to use them up. We want to appreciate them.
Well, I imagine for some people who haven't been around livestock like that, it'd be a great opportunity to learn how to do it, wouldn't it? And I imagine this opportunity could be available to like different social organizations, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, other groups, right?
Yeah, I would encourage any Girl Scout troops to give us a call, and Boy Scouts, 4-H kids, and I know there's a 4-H horseless program. This would give them a kind of an avenue where they could actually work with a horse rather than just doing paperwork on a horse.
That'd be great, but you know, with any organization, there is paperwork that needs to be done. I mean, it's very important. It's not the sparkle to the operation here, but it'd really help out if someone could volunteer for that, right?
Yep, we have paperwork to do, and we'll be doing some fundraising as well, and we need people that have experience there that can kind of maybe give us some guidance.
Guidance and a helping hand, because it takes so much to get these things done. Now, Darcie, I got your name right this time. You talked about earlier that putting together maybe a pilot program for veterans.
Yes.
And it probably is a mirror program of the services you already offer, but you're setting it up as a pilot program, is targeting a particular group of people. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, we've been talking to the VA, and they've been really wanting to have a program like this for about a year, and really didn't have a location. And because we have the staff we have wonderful staff, and we have an indoor arena where we can run all year round, and really strong horses that can support the weight of adult riders. The VA is talking with us about maybe starting a pilot program and see how it goes. And we really need participants and volunteers to come and walk with them. And the way we envision it is having veterans there to support veterans. These programs are all over the country, but we don't have one yet in the state of Montana. So Fresh Steps would be the first, and we're really proud of that.
So you'd ideally like to build it around veteran volunteers, veterans helping veterans. You are in contact with the VA, and they're working towards that. But if we have a viewer out there that says, I'm a veteran, I'd like to help out, or I know some people,
Yes.
we have a number we can put on the screen. Give you a call, right?
Yes, please, yeah.
Set this up.
Because there's several areas there that we're wanting to help, you know, pre and post deployment, so that there's kind of some team building and then a place to go. If you know, heaven forbid, they came home with a loss, that there be a place to go, and hopefully when everybody comes home, they can continue to work together and process the things that they saw and the things that they went through. And it doesn't have to be mental health; it can still be growth and learning.